see this thing. Okay, looks like we live.
Yep.
All right, Shalom, Akim.
Shalom.
First off, we want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawashi, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, Rawchaa Qadash. Double honors to the apostles, great millstone who teach and rule well, and peace and salutation to the elect Akim out here during this fight, pushing this word with faith, hope, and sincerity. So, as you brothers can see, I have a special guest with me. If you want to introduce yourself out.
Hey, Shalom. I'm not from GMS Dallas.
Khan. I'm the Kahan, the priest, Bakwasha, and so through the spirit, we were just rapping, fellowshipping, a little bit through text earlier today. And, through the spirit, one of the topics that came up was basically how Esau's system in itself is basically debt-based. But the more and more we start to just build, and then on the drive home, it kind of hit me that, that topic in itself, could be very useful, for the Akim. But then, more importantly, what's at hand is that people don't know that Yahawashi is visiting this earth, and he's not going to, as scripture says, he's not going to return and meet, these people as a man. He's going to be, that spiritual angelic force. And, so these people, these Babylonians have no clue that Yahawashi is about to knock them the hell out, and so that really goes into the title, which says, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And, most of these Babylonians, these copper tops, these Americans believe that, as scripture says, that the inward thought is that their houses are going to continue forever, and that's the plan in which, these Americans have. But through the spirit of Yahawashi, all of that's going to be brought to naught, and so really that's just going to be the lesson, giving warning, giving, admonishment, to those men that are sighing and crying for all abominations that have been done in the midst of this place, and really just to, really to have a priority on what this truth is really about, and how, every time, Yahawashi gives us breath, it's a life and death situation as far as the decisions in which you make, and whether or not they're leading towards the kingdom of righteousness, or they're leading towards, thought processes which evolve here in Babylon and staying here permanently. And, so what the brother is going to bring out, Lord willing, through the spirit is basically a quick parable that kind of goes into how, if you don't set your affections on things above, that being salvation, that being those things that are that lead to righteousness, those things that are spiritual, then what ultimately will happen is you will perish, by those things. So if you got any opening statements, Anna, or if you just want to get into the scriptures, either way, you got the floor.
Khan, you just to kind of set the tone real quick on what you just said. I got this quick precept. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, and outside of verse 9, it says, "They that put their trust in him shall understand the truth, and such as be faithful in love shall abide with him." Talking about Yahawashi. Now it says, "For grace and mercy is to his saints, and he hath care for his elect." And that's why we say that we're of the hopeful elect, because we hope and pray that we are not caught off guard as others who are not watching, so to speak. Like Hausa talks about, going into how we ought to watch, okay, and pray, okay. I believe Habakkuk talked about, he said he's going to stand upon his watch. Now, we can either be observant or oblivious to the basically to that command and to the things that are going on around us, which goes in the next verse. Verse 10 says, "But the ungodly shall be punished according to their own imaginations, which have neglected the righteous and forsaken Yahawah." Okay, and so do you think the ungodly expect to be punished for the things that they do, Of course not. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it. Okay? But what's going to come upon them is going to be as a thief in the night. Why? Because they obviously transgress, but that's the reason why they're going to get punished is because they do that. They do those wicked things, and it's going to come upon them like basically as a surprise, as a sucker punch, so to speak.
Yep. Come on. Let me grab that real quick before you read that, brother. This is 2 Peter 3:10. It says, "But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat." So yeah, that thief in the night is talking about, as the brother was talking about, no one is going to be prepared for that aside for the hopeful elect. That's the reason why we're prophesying those things to come. You know, we actually see things in slow motion, you know, whereas, you know, all these Babylonians, they see things. Well, first of all, they're not going to see it at all, you know, but it's going to be live and direct, you know, it's going to be like a phantom punch, you know. They say a phantom punch, you never see it coming, you know, and that's going to be Yahawashi bringing thermonuclear destruction. You know, we had talked about how earthquakes are happening all across the globe. You know, here recently in California, you know, they had this big earthquake, you know, and basically people started flipping the fuck out because they had no idea that things like this would come about. You know, they have their security and their trust in Esau, the so-called white man. But really, all those things are happening as Yahawashi is visiting the earth. You know, we starting to see more and more chariots. You know, like it's now on the news. You know, all in Florida, they had chariots during the daytime. You know, showing it on Twitter and all of those other things. So those things in which, you know, the hopeful elect are preparing for are that same punch, that same knockout blow that's going to happen to these Babylonians, man. It says, "But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat." Okay, talking about those thermonuclear ICBM missiles. It says, "The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up." You got it out.
Right. So, do you think that I mean, Esau knows that this world is going to become under attack by, you know, these so-called UFOs and things of that nature. But most people are completely oblivious to that, and that's why we sound so ridiculous, really, in the ears of the common people when we say that this place could be destroyed. But anyway, did you want to go ahead and get this, you know, scripture in Luke?
Yeah, con, brother. Whatever you got.
All right, cool. Yeah, let's go ahead and so this is Luke chapter 12. It's parable from Yahawashi. Oh, that's the spirit. I see where you're going with that other precept in the verse in the chapter.
You got it.
Luke 12:20 says, actually, let me see. I'm gonna start up. All right, verse 16. It says, "And he spake a parable unto them, saying, the ground of a certain rich man brought forth plentifully. And he thought within himself, saying, what shall I do? Because I have no room where to bestow my fruits."
Right. And real quick, all of that is basically going into the methodology of these Babylonians thinking that, you know, this is their rest, you know, that America, this society, basically those fruits being their labors as far as rendering unto Caesar and Esau, the so-called white man. So, you know, basically this wicked Jake, this 2/3 Jake was basically saying, hey, look, man, I got all these riches. You know, I need to find room to store all of these things, just to kind of give a backdrop.
Con, you mind if I get a quick precept?
Write it all. Let's go.
All right. James chapter 5, verse 3.
Beautiful.
Says, your gold and silver is cankered. Basically, cankered, when you look into that word, it means rusted away. It says, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped treasure together for the last days.
Right. So you, go ahead. You got it, brother.
You got it.
No, I was just gonna say. So basically, you in the ring with Yahawashi or Yahawashi, right? And you're thinking that your riches, are basically you tried to pay off the fight or you tried to fix the fight. You think that those things are gonna prevent Yahawashi from knocking your ass out. You got it, bro.
No, that's exactly the point. So I'm gonna go back here to Luke chapter 12 and continue on in verse 18. It says, "And he said, This will I do. I will put down my barns and build greater, and there will I bestow all my fruits and my goods. And I will say to my soul, Soul, thou hast much goods laid up for many years. Take
Mm-hmm.
thine ease, eat, drink, and be merry. But the Most High said unto him, Thou fool, this night thy soul shall be required of thee. Then whose shall those things be which thou hast provided?" And so, let me see, I'll read verse 21. "So
Mm-hmm.
is he that layeth up treasure for himself and is not rich toward the Most High," right? And then, so Yahawashi goes into the balance of it because, like the scripture says in Corinthians, let those that have wives be as those that have none, so on and so forth. Because really, I mean, we know there's certain men that they're going to have possessions on this side, right? But we esteem the treasures and knowledge of Yahawashi to be infinitely greater in value than these things that we have here, which are corruptible. But you have many, many men, and this is why I believe that Yahawashi talked about how it is easier for the camel to enter into the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom. Because a man who is rich has to put off and be willing to give up all of those treasures that he has, right, which are seemingly valuable in order to really serve Yahweh Shai with a sound mind. Um, and that's what this parable is going into. You know what I mean? You easily can the Most High take away all the things that He's given to you in just a moment, and that's going to expose a man's intent and what his integrity and his virtue is. You got it out.
Quick precept for that. This is Romans 11 and not 8. It says, according as it is written, Yahweh hath given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see. So how is it that you're gonna fight against Yahweh Shemal Shai in the ring without seeing? That's how your ass gonna get knocked out. But the reason why you can't see is because you blinded by all these riches, by all these temptations, by all of these trinkets that Esau, the so-called white man, has you thinking that basically is the reason why you here in America. It says eyes that they should not see and ears that they should not hear unto this day. And David said, let their table be made a snare and a trap and a stumbling block and a recompense unto them. So yeah, just to land back off of what you were saying, if you want to break that down.
Hey, you got it. I will, unless you want to read it again.
Yeah. Hey, let's read it one more time. It says, and David said, let their table be made a snare and a trap and a stumbling block and a recompense unto them.
Right. Let their table be made a snare and a trap and a stumbling block. The imaginations that they put forth, the effort that they put forth when they sit down and they kind of, in their thinking chair, so to speak, is going to become a snare unto those that don't fear the Most High, whose intentions are to be contrary to the Most High. Because, the scriptures talk about how there's certain men that don't sleep until they've committed some form of iniquity or imagined some way to make our lives living hell, which mostly pertains to Esau. But you got 2/3 out there, man, that the Most High has slated for destruction. But nevertheless, their job on this side is to be demons and to be contrary to the work of the Lord. And so it just really comes down to who is for the Most High and who's not. There's not really a gray area or a straddling the fence, so to speak. Like there was a Jake that said on Friday camp, you know, he was basically we were telling him, well, I'll say it like this: he was hearing us criticize and condemn America, you know, and then he was talking about, yeah, you know, I mean, I see you guys are black. I know you guys are against the white man, but you know, I'm Mexican, so as you could say, and he was joking, you know, Issachar be simple, you know, I guess you could say I'm on the fence, and it's like, no, man, you're not on the fence, okay? You're either on one side or the other, man.
God.
You know, and that's why the Yahawashi detested those, you know, who were lukewarm, so to speak, and still to this day, of course, because I mean, there's literally a scripture. I mean, he said it himself. He is that is not with me is against me. He that gathereth not with me scattereth abroad. So we're very clear and cut on which side that we're on, and he expects the wicked to be the same way. You know, if you're against the Lord, then you obviously gotta show it. You know.
Yeah, gone, beautiful, beautiful. You know, and a part of that table is the fact that these guys want riches of this world, you know, versus the riches of Yahawashi. You know, that's the main thing they're gonna get trapped up in. You know, that's gonna be a stumbling block to them because they think that this society and what America provides, you know, as far as the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, you know, that pride of life, all of that's going to be their stumbling block, you know, and that's really how Yahawashi is really going to, you know, lay that haymaker on them, you know. But grab real quick that Luke 12 and we can start at 36.
Okay. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Luke chapter 12 and verse 30. Oh, you mind if I start at verse 34 out?
Not at all. Go for it.
All right, Luke chapter 12, 34 says, "For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also."
Boom.
Let your loins be girded about and your lights burning. So what's an example of that? And this is, you know, Yahawashi's commandment to the disciples. How are we keeping our loins girded? Basically, when you have your loins girded, you're ready to prepare. You're readily prepared to work or go to battle or do some type of, you know, physical exercise or act, okay, which in this case is doing the work, building the Lord's temple. It says, and your lights burning, right? We're shining our lights out into the Gentiles like Yahawashi did, letting them know this is the truth. Verse 36, and ye yourselves like unto men that wait for their Lord when he will return from the wedding, that when he cometh and knocketh, they may open unto him immediately. Why? Because they're expecting him to arrive, versus someone who's not. You know. I'm sure this is going to go into it. Verse 37 says, "Blessed are those servants whom the Lord, when he cometh, shall find watching. Verily I say unto you, that he shall gird himself and make them to sit down to meat, and will come forth and serve them."
Yeah. I mean, because you got to realize, as he had said, there are those that are going to be prepared, and then there are those that thief is going to catch off guard. You know, in the middle of the night. You know, or well, it don't say middle of the night, but you know, as a thief in the night. You know, right. But basically, you're going to be unaware. And by you being unaware, that's how Yahawashi is going to give you that death blow, you know, versus those that were actually knowing, you know, through the scriptures of prophecy and waiting for that man to come back to redeem us, you know. So it's two different energies here. You know, one is lax, one is settled on their leaves, one is content, one is satisfied with the situation at hand. And another is eagerly, earnestly, you know, watching, you know, anticipating, you know, looking at the signs and wanting to see Yahawashi return, you know, versus being, you know, laid on the canvas because you know you were a slothful servant, you know. You got it.
Con, I got a quick one. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. Verse 4, "But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. Ye are all children of light, and the children of the day. We are not of the night, nor of darkness. Okay.
Right. Because,
Oh, go
yeah.
ahead.
Oh, you got it. You got it.
Okay, going into how the men of the Lord, would like I said earlier, are basically a light or a lamp or a lighthouse that shines in a dark world. The scripture saying, I believe it First John the 5th chapter, that the whole world lieth in darkness and lieth in wickedness is synonymous to the same thing. Um, and verse 7 is really the point right here. 1 Thessalonians 5:7, where it says, "For they that sleep in the night, for they that sleep in the night." Oh, I'm sorry. For they that sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night. And so, the reason why the analogy of being asleep is likened unto not watching and being drunken is because obviously when you're sleeping, you're not aware of anything that's going on right now, at that time, I should say. And so that's why that destruction is going to overcome those who are not watching spiritually, that is, as a thief, because they're not expecting to be delivered from this place like the elect are. You got it.
Beautiful. Yep. Beautiful. Because first of all, they just like what a thief does, they're not protecting that which is valuable, which is their soul, which is their spirit, and that's really, as scripture goes into, I believe, Matthew the 11th chapter, how it goes into how first you have to bind up that strong man.
Yeah.
And by you binding up that strong man, that's how the thief really comes in. It's a lot.
Yep.
And take those goods, but here in this scenario, Yahawashi is gonna take that life, the thing that you are trying to store up your riches for, that you're trying to, increase those barns, and yeah, I think this is it. Or is it 12? Con, it's 12. Yeah, Con. This is Matthew 12, and I'm just going to read 44. It says, "Then he said, I will return to my house from which I came out, and when he is come, he findeth it empty, swept, and garnished." It says, "Then goeth he and take it with himself." Is that the one I'm looking for?
I got you, Lot.
Okay, go ahead. You got it, bro.
Let me see.
It talks about binding up the strong man.
Yeah, Con. This is it's in the 29th verse, Matthew 12:29. It says, and that's the spirit.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah,
Spirit.
This is Matthew 12:29. It says, "Or else, how can one enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house."
Right, and the way in which Yahawashi is binding, these quote unquote strong men, as far as these copper top 2/3, is by having them in darkness. Having that darkness, basically, this corruption, or that cankered silver and gold, in which their eyes and their mind is being captivated by. That's how he's binding them up, and then he's going what's the word, pillage or plunder, as far as destroying them.
That's it. I mean, because what did the conquistadors do when they first discovered America? If you look at their numbers, which are the Edomites, those are Edomites that came over here to, basically invade Arsareth, okay, or North and South America, as you could say. And obviously they were outnumbered, but what did they have? They had that blessing of the sword. They bound the strong man, and now they got us, the strong man, they got us in captivity, all right, spoiling us, okay, and all types of making all types of riches off of us. But guess what? Verse 30 talks about, I'm going to read it, matter of fact. Verse 30 says, "He that is not with me is against me, and he that gathereth not with me scattereth abroad," which is what I quoted earlier, right? So we know that the Lord is going to deliver those that love him and those that do the work. And that's really our only hope, to be delivered out of this bad boy, man. You know, and
That's
we
right.
obviously know that Esau is contrary to that. So he's not gonna do anything to help further the gospel or anything of that matter. You know,
Con, con.
why? Because he already is in his kingdom. He already has received the riches that he is looking for, and it's gonna be soon taken away, like a thief in the night. Like how we're going into, it's gonna be like a dang on sucker punch. You know what I mean?
Yep, that's
Yeah,
that's it. That plan.
yeah.
What does Scripture say? In the fullness of His sufficiency,
Yeah,
he shall be in straits.
yeah.
You know. So that plan of a new world order, of basically, sitting in the seat of Yahawashi acting as if he's God. All of. That is his plan. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But let me read this. This is Job 20, and I'm just going to read the point. Verse 22 says, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him, and that's really talking about Yahawashi really just bringing that, that overhand right and knocking out Esau just when he thinks that his new world order plan, this RFID microchip, the mark of the beast, all of that technology. I want to say brothers sent around videos today and earlier of how I believe the airport in Atlanta now is basically the first airport that has all facial recognition. You don't even need your passport. You don't need any of that. So all those things are basically Esau's system getting into that fullness, or his plan, because his whole plan is to dominate the world and basically, destroy it ultimately. But yeah, that hand of Yahawashi is gonna come and destroy him. So yeah, that was that. Let me see. Oh, actually, 23. Gotta read 23. It says, when he is about to fill his belly, Yahweh shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him. So it ain't just gonna be that right hand, which is Yahawashi, that is,
Mm-hmm.
it ain't just gonna be that right hand of Yahawashi. It's gonna be, the multitude and the legions of chariots.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be the whole heavenly host. It's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be, the hopeful elect or the elect at that time. It's gonna be all of the fowls of the air, the beast, the fish of the sea. Leviathan gonna hit that hole real quick. You know what I'm saying? Like Yahawashi, hey, that combo is gonna be like Street Fighter, every game you ever seen, Mortal Kombat, wrapped up in one. Hey, I know you play video games, all them combos from Mario Brothers, the whole nine.
Right. Really, man. It's like I don't know if if you brothers seen that if y'all brothers watch UFC or whatever, but this weekend there was this Jake basically that knocked this dude out, and like it was the fastest knockout in UFC history, 5 seconds. And what he did was a move that was so unexpected. When he landed it, he was out cold. So he basically did like a flying knee type deal. And the dude that received the fatal blow, he thought that he was just going to be able to kind of tackle his way into it or whatever the case was. But the last thing that he expected was to be knocked out cold and got a record broke on his ass. And really, that's what's going to happen to Esau, man. Esau is going to think that he's going to be able to put up a fight, because the scripture talk about that in Second Ezra, the 13th chapter, how the armies of these Edomites and these other nations were so afraid, but yet durst fight against the Lord. Well, they're going to fight, but they're going to immediately be eviscerated by just the chariots. Okay, laser beams is going to come out of those. Of course, the Most High is going to put the spirit in them to fight prior to that to weaken them. But really, it's going to be a light thing to destroy those armies, man. Okay, so there's nothing really Esau can do to even prepare himself for the things that's to come upon him. Can you still hear me out?
Con, I got you,
Okay.
brother.
Yeah, your
Loud and clear.
visual went out, but I can hear you, so we good.
Oh, my visual?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Am I
can hear you,
still?
though.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. Let me. I'll check the stream. I mean, we can keep going as long as you can. As long as we
Con.
can hear each other. I'll check.
Yeah, I was about to say. Esau trying to hinder, man.
Okay. No, I can. Okay, I'm looking on the what's the name. It looks like everything's good.
Okay,
for the watchers. So yeah, we'll just keep.
All right, let me finish this then. This is Job 20 and 23. It says, when he is about to fill his belly, Yahweh shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. So yeah, I mean, that's gonna be the beauty. While Esau is planning, all of this evil and sorcery and witchcraft and deviousness, right? Yahawashi is gonna come in, like he normally does,
right.
Okay, and devastate everything, man. And that's gonna be the beauty. So, did you finish that Luke? All right.
Yeah, that was the end of that in Luke.
What did you stop on?
I stopped in I'm sorry. That was I read verse 37.
Read 39.
Yeah, okay, Con. Verse 38 says, and if he shall come in the second watch or come in the third watch and find them so, blessed are those servants.
Right, because those servants, such as the hopeful men of Yahawashi, are actually watching, anticipating, looking for that husbandman to return. That's gonna be us basically, just being aware and not being caught off guard. Basically, as the thief is coming, hey, we sitting right there waiting for him, like, hey, come on in. Hey, look, they over there.
Yeah. We letting the Lord in. We sneaking them in. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, look, point them, looking like, there you go, get them. Because hey, mentioning that verse that scripture that we read in Job 20, and particularly in let me see here in 23, we're talking about when he is about to fill his belly, man. Filling his belly is going into the new world order, man. All right, that agenda that Esau has to basically overthrow basically rule the world and be the god of this world, like you mentioned earlier. That all of what he's done since the Renaissance until now has been in an effort to achieve this agenda, and he's never been closer. And so that's why the things that are going on now in the world are kind of pretty much heating up. And Esau is willing to risk it all, so to speak, just to obtain that. That's why he's engaging in these different types of skirmishes and, basically trade wars and things like that. It's all going to lead up. It's all going to lead up to a hot war. And Esau is willing to engage in that, lose millions of his people's lives in order to achieve this. So this means a lot to him. So when all of his efforts become turned into naught, like how we read like how we're reading in Luke the 12th chapter about that parable of the man that basically he was covetous. I'll say it like that. It's going to be such a disappointing scene. It's going to be such a beautiful thing to watch for the elect because we want this bad boy to go down. All right, but for him, man, it's going to be devastating. So just want to kind of put that in the perspective, of Esau, all the stuff that he's built up and all that stuff. That's him heaping treasures together for the last days, essentially as well.
Yep.
Now, I'm going to read this in verse 39. It says, and this know that if the good man of the house had known what hour the thief would come, he would have watched. And
he would have watched, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, how are the hopeful elect watching? You're watching because you're taking heed to these holy scriptures. That is how we were informed that the good man, that Yahawashi or the thief, was going to come and actually take those things. In which, what does the scripture say? How he reapeth that which he did not sow it. So yeah, that's how you watch, as scripture says, as well as pray. Because you don't know when Yahawashi is gonna come. You know, you thinking you've been in the truth for X amount of years. You thinking, oh, okay, I'm good, I'm stable or whatever, right? And then next thing you know, wisdom tries you, and now you out a great millstone. Because you were watching for the wrong things. You weren't being spiritual the whole while. You know, you still had some type of stake, or you still had some type of carnal impurity, okay, that needed to be purged out of you. You know, and we all are being purified. So I don't want brothers to think like, you know, I'm highlighting anybody, but there have been several examples throughout the course of Israel, modern Israel today, okay, in which are examples for other brothers to fear and to be more on the watch, as well as examining yourself. Because really that's the first watch, theoretically, you know, is you examining yourself before you go out and you start to actually be a protector or a seeker or a watchman of Israel, you know. So yeah, read that verse again, Baba Kushai.
Khan. Luke chapter 12, verse 39. And this know that if the good man of the house had known what hour the thief would come, he would have watched and not have suffered his house to be broken through.
Right, exactly. Because like you know that Yahawashi is coming. You know that hey, you know that you in the ring, you know, with Yahawashi. So you know something devastating is going to happen. But if you would have watched, if you would have prepared yourself, then hey, you wouldn't have been spoiled. You wouldn't have been bounded up. You wouldn't have allowed that darkness to overtake you. You would have been a child of the day or children of the day, not of the children of the night. You know? So yeah, hey, all of those things are just to give warning, because one or two things can happen. Either you can be prepared for Yahawashi's return to the best of your ability, you know, or you can be spoiled. And one way or another, hey, Yahawashi is gonna get his. You know, you got it, brother.
Khan, man. Ultimately, it goes back to that parable of the 5 wise and the 5 foolish virgins in Matthew 25th chapter, man. Just being prepared. I mean, brothers talk about it all the time, but it's like the reason why, of course, it's all according to the will of the Lord, but it's easy to, fall off of that alert mode. You know what I mean? And just kind of doze off, because I mean, when you're watching, you may have to. I mean, even in this example, watching in the night. Okay, it talks about verse 38, and if he shall come in the second watch or come in the third watch, these are times that are, matter of fact, can we let's look at let's just Google when is the first, second, and third watch in like the ancient world, so we can see like what times of the day that. Let me see if I can Google something.
Yeah, I believe the first watch is from like 6. I think they're in there's 3 watches, so they're in 8-hour increments. So the first watch should be from like, I guess theoretically 6 to like 2, and then the second watch should be from like 2 to 10, and then from 10 to 6. If that, look, according to what Esau say, but I believe it's something along those lines, or okay. It could be from sunset being the first watch. So whatever that may be.
I got you. I got you right here.
Okay.
So this is BibleStudyTools.com. Watches the night. So it says the Jews, like the Greeks and Romans, divided the night into military watches instead of hours. Each watch representing the period for which sentinels or pickets remained on duty, meaning up when normally they would be asleep, but in order to watch the camp or whatever. It says the proper Jewish reckoning recognized only 3 sun watches, entitling the first, or the beginning of the watches, the middle watch, and the morning watch. Now it says these would last respectively from sunset to 10 p.m. Right, so that's the first watch. So sunset to 10 p.m., which this would be, it's 12 o'clock right now, so we would be in the second watch, right? So it says from sunset to 10 p.m. From 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. That's the second watch, and from 2 a.m. to sunrise would be the third watch. So that's really
okay. So they didn't have any watches during the day. It was only during the nighttime.
Right, because I mean, people were awake. You know what I mean?
Yep. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So with that being said, let me reading it with that understanding. It says, blessed, verse 37, blessed are those servants whom when the Lord cometh, he shall find watching. Right. And this is a team thing, man. So obviously, if the Lord comes, first, second, or third watch, somebody's going to be up paying attention, watching, seeing when he comes and when he returns. He may come in the second watch between, what is it? 2 8. What does it say? From 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. He may come in that time. He may come from 2 a.m. to sunrise. We don't know exactly what time, but we know that he's coming in that time period.
Right.
And so that's the kind of bringing that to life. Like, hey, we know we're in that time to where he's coming. You know what I mean?
That's right.
You got it out.
Nah, that's beautiful. Let's grab real quick Habakkuk, the second chapter, and we can start at verse 6, because a lot of what that watch theoretically is as well is the fact that it's going on right now. Even though it may be daytime, in a sense, we still in that night or darkness watch, so to speak. So yeah, I mean, don't take everything. What's that?
I said because everyone's asleep.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Right. Yeah, right. That hey, scripture says in Isaiah the 60th chapter how gross darkness has covered the people. So that darkness isn't, I mean, although we're using the watch just for the sake of that time period in which we're watching, but in essence, during the day, people are asleep, slumbering, eyes that they couldn't see, ears that they can't hear. That ain't just during the nighttime. That's during the day as well, So that watch is while it is day, as far as us having that comprehension of this truth, making sure that we're doing what we need to do to where Yahawashi don't knock us, the fuck out.
Right.
Yeah, start at verse 6. All right.
Okay. If you don't mind, can I give verse 1 that talks about that? What we're talking about, verse 1.
Yeah, of course. That makes sense.
Okay. Habakkuk chapter 2 and 1, it says, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And these are the words of Habakkuk, just letting his audience know that he's on duty. All right, he's keeping game. He's seeing what's going on in the world. And when you were watching, you watched basically on the wall, and you were set up on a tower to see if there's an army coming, to see if there's a single rider coming with a message, urgent message, whatever the case may be. Okay, and it says to see what the Lord will say unto me, and he's speaking through the prophecies. Okay, I gotta read verse 2. It says, and the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. So the words that Yahweh spoke unto Habakkuk were written down by him in order for the men who read these things that were written to run, or to go out and act upon the things that are written, so we can act accordingly, prepare ourselves accordingly. Now, I'm going to drop down. You said in verse 6, right?
Done.
All right. Verse 6 says,
yeah. Hey, you might as well read 3, all right? You might as well read that.
I don't want to draw it out, but hey, the spirit is willing.
Hey.
Habakkuk 2 and 3 says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak.
So real quick, that vision that we're talking about right now is the return of Yahawashi. Okay, that's the reason why everyone isn't gonna have an answer when they get punched in the mouth, because they didn't take heed to the vision. They didn't take heed to the prophets watching, to the prophets prophesying out there on the highways and byways. So in the end, okay, when Esau is fighting against Yahawashi, that's going to be it speaking. The same things in which we were speaking once before out on the highways and byways, the same things in which the prophets of old spoke, okay, all of that is going to come to fruition.
That's right. Continuing on, it says, verse 3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Keep going.
Done.
Okay. And then, that last part's going into, even though it may take a while, or seem to take a while, it's eventually going to come to pass. The word of the Most High doesn't go out void.
Well, yeah, I mean, that goes right back into the 2 Peter 3:10. It says the day of the Lord is going to come as a thief in the night. It didn't say, well, it might come. It said it's going to come. So even though it is tarrying, wait on it. It's going to come, because that day of the Lord, although it's going to be dreadful, to these other heathen nations and 2/3 of our people, hey, we look forward to it. We look forward to seeing Yahawashi spoiling Esau, or raining down on him, as he's about to fill his belly, as he's eating, taking them, them big gulps, over there eating like Zeke, thinking he gonna get another first down, and eventually he gonna score a touchdown, and then Yahawashi gonna come out the blue, So yeah, you got it.
Real quick one. Romans chapter 8, verse 19. Romans 8 and 18 says, for I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory that shall be, which shall be revealed in us. For the earnest expectation of the creature waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of the Most High. All right. And so that, that crown that, the elect, the men of the Lord, are going to receive for enduring to the end is not worthy to be compared to the tribulation that we may suffer in order to get to that point. Okay. Which is a heavy statement, because why we are constantly get that shot. Well, we have the shot, but to really obtain, that's what we seek for, which we hope for, So I just want to throw that out there real quick. So back in Habakkuk,
you can jump down to verse. Yeah, jump down to verse 6, because that goes in all Esau's BS.
Yeah. All right. Habakkuk 2 and 6. It says, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay.
Yeah, exactly. So everyone that was once, in agreement with this Babylonian system, and that, got all their riches from it, basically going into that debt system, that thick clay, and basically that's how Esau amassed his riches, through lies, deceit, slavery and usury and all the rest of that. Now all of those things, people are going to look at America just like they're looking at America right now and saying, bro, just as it says in Isaiah the 14th chapter, have thou become as weak as us? Because, you used to be this big bad bully, used to have all these, atomic bombs and all these smart missiles and, all the rest of this technology and drones and shit. Now all of that, it don't matter, because when you see them chariots of Yahawashi in the sky, you're going to realize all your weapons were useless. All that technology was useless, all that devising of iniquity, all that was useless.
Man, that's one hell of a statement, man, because all of the missiles in the world can't take down a chariot, man. You know how much money and effort Esau puts into, processing this uranium and carefully and diligently putting the missile warhead together and all that. That's vanity, man. Emptiness is all going to come to naught. Continuing on, Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 7. It says, shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them?
Yeah, you're going to be spoiled, man.
Yep.
Yahawashi is going to take you out, man. And I ain't talking about on the date. It's gonna be times in which this world has never seen before. Because hey, all of your riches you thought that were going to prevent this day from coming, or all of these plans and all of this what do they call it, the Freemasonry, and the Order Templars, and the think tanks and all, none of that.
Right.
None of that, man. This whole AI technology, getting everybody smartphones and listening in to their conversation, and all the laptops, and basically getting everybody's social media, and Twitters and Instagrams and Facebook.
Yeah.
All that's going to be for naught.
Yep.
So it's going to be beautiful, man. Because, hey, you got to realize Yahawashi is the coldest ninja out there. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I don't know if you remember the old ninja movies where they would have a ninja, like, basically scale a house or whatever. And, they would tiptoe so effortlessly. Mm-hmm. And, of course, they got all that from Jake anyway. But the point being here is this. There is no security for America, man. None. Okay, you can have all of them satellites. Hey, that's part of his NASA program. Sending all them satellites in the middle of space and shit.
You see, but what's funny, that the scriptures address all of these things.
God, brother.
Though thou, what does it say? Sit thy nest among the stars. From this will I bring you down. And Obadiah. I mean, this isn't stuff that the Bible forgot to mention something like the Bible forgot to mention this. No, man.
Right.
All of these things Esau, is put together to, obtain these times. Most High put it in his mind to do so he can show his power when bringing them down. So there's nothing that's gonna Esau's gonna be able to do to prevent that destruction that's coming upon him. Really the spirit was really more so on rich men pretty much heaping up treasures and thinking that they're going to be solid in these days, but really, it's transitioning towards Esau, man, because he's really that rich man. And for example, in that parable, Lazarus and the rich man, he's really that rich man that has amassed all of this wealth, by stealing and committing adultery and things of that nature. Rich is gotten by deceit. Okay, he's the one that's been perpetrating that. All right, and so he's going to be the topic of discussion, because the scriptures talk about in the book of Isaiah how Babylon the Great says, I said a queen, no one's going to touch me, just in the prideness of the heart, so to speak. Okay, and then it's always a raunchy, loud, obnoxious woman, okay, that gets decked or punched hard as hell in the face. They look, the eyes get wide. They're like, did that just, looking like, did that just happen? Yes, it just happened, and worse is to come. You know what I mean?
God, hey, that's all I wanted on that one. But hey, what you just said, brother, Yahawashi gonna give America the worst world star moment ever.
Man. Yeah, man. Because you take a look at a nigga woman, man, and the last thing she expects is for the nigga that she's talking all types of shit to, call him a hoe ass, bitch ass nigga, this and that, excuse my French, to just slap the fire out her ass or even worse, you know what I mean? But worse is to come to America, Babylon the Great whore. Oh
yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because it talks about that in Nahum, man. Matter of fact, we'll get this scripture real quick in Nahum.
I got one for you too whenever you're ready, brother.
Okay. Yeah, real quick in Nahum, I believe it's the 3rd chapter. Yeah.
Go slap the fire at you.
Nahum 3 and 5, man. It says, behold, I am against thee, saith Yahweh of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face. What does it mean to discover her skirts? To lift the skirt up. Now, how often do you see somebody in public, you see a woman with a skirt, you lift that bitch up? That's unexpected as hell. But that's what's going to happen to America. America's going to get that skirt lifted up, and we're going to see all. I'm going to keep reading it. It says, and will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations, all of those people that are observing America, which is everybody in the world, thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. You see? Because it's going to be exposed. Okay? If somebody gets laid down flat on the ground, all right, especially a woman, she got exposed. Okay? That's what's going to happen. You got it, Doc.
That's hard to follow up right there, brother.
You had a precept, so.
Good, I know, brother. This is Isaiah. This is Isaiah 47:10. Going into that same woman, you know. I'm gonna read verse 1. It says, "Come down and sit in the dust."
Yep.
O virgin daughter of Babylon. You got it. Go ahead.
Yeah, looking all confused. Like, who the hell just slapped me? Days kind of unconscious, half awake. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because really, man, you know, when a woman gets hit, that's like that she loses her, you know, her grace, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like, that's why, you know, people say they bug out when a woman gets touched. But this bitch is finna get touched, man. It's finna get real. Because, I mean, you know, it's like, for example, the standard of America, so to speak, is, you know, you don't touch a woman, you know, especially an Edomite woman, you know, oh, man, Edomite women are going to get it. That's why, you know, the Bible prescribes the destruction that's going to come in, like Isaiah the 13th chapter and things, scriptures like that, man. These women are going to be, the scriptures say their wives are going to be ravished. What do you think that means? You think they're going to maintain their grace in that day? No, man, it's going to be unexpected. These people, man, bro, when it starts happening, that's when they're really going to see it. I mean, that's when these scriptures like Isaiah 4:1 are going to come to pass. You know, scriptures like a man should be more precious than fine gold. A man should be like a covering, a shadow in a weary land, or some, you know, things of that nature. Because those men that are on their watch, that are being diligent, are going to be on point. They're going to have shelter. The Lord's going to protect them. And people are that's going to be valuable. That's really what's going to be valuable. People are just going to want clothes and shelter and not to be killed, you know. But as for this woman, okay, American in general, these Americans, they're finished. Gonna be completely caught off guard, you know. You got it,
Doc. Isaiah 47:1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne.
Yep.
O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate.
Right. So the daughter of the Chaldeans obviously going to the daughter of Babylon. And we know that represents Esau. It says, thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. I don't know if you ever watched Game of Thrones, you know, if I was watching Game of Thrones or whatever, and then you had the queen, the Lannister queen, Cersei or whatever, you know, she got, you know, for brother, I mean, hey, it's already, it already, you know, came out.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler, whatever the hell. But basically she got locked up or whatever, and she had to get a walk of shame, so to speak, and confess her sins, you know, in order to be released. And what they did in order to shame her was they discovered her skirts upon her face. So they removed her clothes, right, and made her ass walk from basically the jailhouse all the way to, you know, the province of, you know, the castle, whatever, where she, you know, where she lived at. And during that time period, people were talking all types of shit. They were throwing, you know, trash on her, rice, spitting on her. You know what I mean? Yep. So she was sitting. Now the dust represents confusion, okay, but that no more being called tender and delicate. Her privates were exposed. She was naked, literally naked, and, you know, exposed, man. And she couldn't. There was no defense for her. Okay, and I was like, damn, you know, as you were reading that, it just kind of reminded me, because, you know, she was the queen, right? The queen regent, all tender and delicate. But now everyone's seeing her shame. Now it's like, damn, that's embarrassing, you know. But that's the spiritually what's going to happen to these people, man.
Yep. Con. I'm gonna read. I gotta read verse 3, and then I'm gonna jump to verse 10. It says, "Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, Yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man.
Con.
So you got it.
Oh man, honestly, man, like we went into it all. You know, Yahawashi going to return. The Lord said He's not going to meet thee as a man. So it's not going to be fair one-on-one fist fight. All right, as He would have it. There's not. It's going to be an unfair fight because we already know who
Right.
it's going to be. How about Yahawashi? You know.
Gone.
And so that's why, if we say that we believe, we have no choice but to be on fire for this thing, man. Because the Bible prescribes utter destruction for our enemies, the self-proclaimed white man and his allies and the other nations. And so, like I said, we have no choice but to stay on our watch and earnestly hope for that salvation that is to come to the nation of Israel. Starting with the elect.
Gone.
You got it, huh?
I'm going to jump to verse 10. It says, for thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. Thou hast...
Go ahead, finish the verse, Rawchaa.
It's Isaiah 47:10. It says, but thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. Thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee. And thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else besides me.
Man, trusting in wickedness, because why? Esau has been able to get away with all of the rape, robbery, and murder, and starvation, and famine, and all of those lewd acts that have been done to particularly the nation of Israel for so long. He thinks that the Most High either doesn't care or is on his side, whatever delusion he's under, whatever trance and spell he's under. Okay, he thinks that wickedness is righteousness. That's why when you read Isaiah, it says, woe unto thee that's called good evil and evil good, if I'm not mistaken. All right. And the Most High is going to basically reset the balances. Okay. And set the things that are righteous. Yeah, here it is. Verse 20. Isaiah 5:20. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Esau is a backwards, convoluted individual, man. So he's trusting his wickedness and said, none seeth me. He thinks that he's going to altogether go unpunished. Okay? Because he's wise and he's able to understand certain things that are not revealed to the common man, right? He's looked and sought after all different types of wickedness and darkness, all right, in these secret places, all right. And that's why it goes into that witchcraft, like the brother, like you're going into, all the social media. The mark is his mark. The mark of the beast
Right.
is turned into what? Basically, search out and control and seal those who are on his side. I mean, that's deep, dark counsel, man, that he's taken. And so it's perverted him and says, what? Thou hast said in thy heart, I am, and none else besides me. Because he thinks that he is God. He really thinks he's able to get away with all these things. You know what I mean? And so he's in such a dark, sleep place that when reality gets brought forth these devils, man, you can see it in their face when they're walking by the camp. They sneer and they scoff and they mock. It's like, you have any idea what's to come to you? They have no idea. I'm talking about the average Edomite. They have no idea. And so, that really is like I said, is a heavy topic. Before we even started the lesson, it's a heavy topic, man. What's the name of the title of the lesson again?
Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
Right. And I saw you said by the Lord,
Yeah, by the Lord, of course.
Yeah. So Esau has a plan, world domination, right? A new world order. The image of the beast, which says the same thing. The image of the beast, he has that in his mind, and it's gonna be shattered. There's only so many ways you can put it. You know what I mean? You got it. It's the point is made, man.
Verse 11, and then we'll wrap up here. This is Isaiah 47:11. It says, therefore shall evil come upon thee. Thou shalt not know from whence it riseth. Let's go get that haymaker, man. He ain't gonna see it coming.
That's right.
It says, and mischief shall fall upon thee, thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. So yeah, all these things are coming unto Babylon, man. You know, this whore, you know, 2/3 of our people that you know trust in Egypt, that agree, you know, with Esau's system, that believes that riches are gonna profit them in the day of adversity, you know, that think that a lot of what they're doing right now isn't going to be accounted for. You know, scripture says that, hey, every man's works are going to be accounted for, whether they be good or evil, you know. So that's why Yahawashi says that the righteous shall scarcely be saved, you know, but he's going to start at his sanctuary, man. He's going to start at Yasher Allah, you know. He's going to start there with 2/3 of Israel, okay? And then he's going to start lifting the skirt on Babylon. All that destruction, all of that vengeance, you know, all of that taunting proverb, you know, and all these other nations are starting to mock America. All those things are coming upon these Edomites, man. All the rest of these heathen nations as well. And they're not going to see it, man. You know, and even though, you know, as the brother has said, hey, Esau is wiser than Daniel. He knows these things are prophesied to come, but he doesn't believe that it's going to happen. He's going to, quote unquote, prepare as if he wants to fight. The Lord's going to make him fight, but ultimately he still is in denial, you know. But you know, that's why Yahawashi is going to do the same thing to Esau as he did to Pharaoh, you know, which is basically him, Esau right now, and creating his new world order. That is how Yahawashi is hardening Esau's heart, you know, or his mind, you know, to where he can be exposed, to where all these other nations and specifically our nation, you know, can see these devils for who they really are, you know. And then, you know, that's going to be that, you know, line of demarcation, or that, what do they call it, the point of no return, you know, where that mark of the beast is now going to be instituted, and people are going to have to make a decision whether or not, and really they've already made the decision, you know what I'm saying? Just like, you know, the hopeful elect are already predestined, you know. So all of that is just going to be Yahawashi returning as that thief, you know, to claim what is his, and basically to destroy those things that are not profitable, you know.
Kal.
I got one more for you, brother.
Yeah.
If you want to break it down.
Okay.
This is Mark chapter 13, and I'm gonna start at verse 20. I'm gonna start at verse 25. And I'm gonna start at 24. It says, but in those days after the tribulation, the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars of heaven shall fall, and the powers that are in heaven shall be shaken.
Mm-hmm.
And then shall they see.
That's going to say the Lord, man. You know, when these missiles drop, you know, and the chariots are filling the skies and be blocking out, you know, the moonlight, the sunlight that, you know, normally is shine upon the earth. Okay, and the stars of heaven going into Esau, you know, he's pretty much like the powers that be, so to speak. People refer to him as that because he's in such a high position. Okay, the elite we're talking about. It says shall fall, and the powers that are in heaven shall be shaken. You know, that government that he set up, okay, is going to be shifted. It's going to be sifted out of place like a damn earthquake. You know.
Con. And we just had but they just had a solar eclipse last week, and I want to say it's one coming up tomorrow or something. I could be wrong, but verse 26, it says, and then shall they see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with great power and glory. Verse 27.
Do you think they're going to be expecting that when that happens? You know,
that ain't gonna be no movie. That ain't gonna be Independence Day with Will Smith.
Right. God,
Hey, that's gonna be Yahawashi Yahawashi not meeting, this whore as a man.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Verse 27. And then shall he send his angels and shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from the uttermost part of the earth to the uttermost part of heaven.
Right.
Verse.
So the elect that endured to the end, man. Esau, when he sees Yahawashi and the chariots return, of course it's going to be to our rejoicing, but he's gonna be like, all right, then that's when Revelation 12:12 is really going to kick in. All right, he knows that he have but a short time, because it's literally down to his battery. His battery is on E, okay, or his car's on E. His battery's on low power. Whatever, he's gonna be like, all right, look, I gotta be a devil now. I'm gonna blot him out right here and right now. You know what I mean? Because he knows, man, bro. Esau, when he sees him chair, I just can't wait to see his face. You know what I mean? But you got it out.
Con, verse 28. Now learn a parable of the fig tree. When her branch is yet tender and put forth leaves, ye know that summer is near.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because what's the first thing that happens? For example, after the Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread, that's that's during the time of the New Year, okay, and I believe that name is Abib, okay, which goes into the green, basically the greenery starting to sprout forth. All right, so when that we'll just say the what tree,
Fig.
Yeah, the fig tree starts to put forth the leaves, the little sprouts start coming up. Then the summer is the following season after that. Okay, time for the harvest. Okay, so we in that time now where we in spring, so to speak, to where not physically but spiritually in that time where those fruits are growing and they're almost ripe. You got it. Right?
Verse 29. So ye in like manner, when ye shall see these things come to pass, know that it is nigh, even at the doors.
Right. So we know that we're in those times due to the fact that, we see signs. We see in Matthew 24 signs of the times, man, like every day, like completely not able to be ignored. But when we start seeing them chariots and these nations actually fighting against each other, then we gonna know, like, okay, it's right at the door, like, you know what I mean, like right at the door, like you got your Uber Eats dude. You know what I mean? You try to give me an apartment code. He like, look, I'm at the door already. Oh shit! All right, you go walk to the door. That's it. You know what I mean? We're getting to those times to where it's that close, man. So
verse. Oh,
no, you got it.
Verse 30. Verily I say unto you that this generation shall not pass till all these things be done. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away. But of that day and that hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels which are in heaven, neither the Son, but the Father. Take ye heed, watch and pray, for ye know not when the time is. For the Son of Man is as a man taking a far journey, who left his house and gave authority to his servants, and to every man his work, and commanded the porter to watch. Watch ye therefore, for ye know not when the master of the house cometh, at even, at midnight, or at the cock crowing, or in the morning. So we went over those watches, as far as, that evening, midnight, even though here, it breaks down cock crowing, but that's the morning too, huh?
Yeah. It's big, has four watches in that one.
Well, the cock crowing is basically the morning too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's like for like crack of dawn, 5 a.m. or whatever,
Yeah. Verse 36, it says, least coming suddenly, he find you sleeping. And that's what that's what, you know, they used to say in the world, you know, it's like, hey man, I caught him slipping, or I caught him sleeping, you know, and that's how you get drove, and that's how Yahawashi is gonna catch, you know, these Babylonians and 2/3 of our people, man, that are not watching and praying and looking for the what is it called? The Son of Man is taking a far journey, you know, and he gave the authority to the servants. That authority was to have everyone understand Yahawashi has just left. Okay, Yahawashi is coming back though, and when he comes back, listen, y'all better be ready, because we getting ready right now. We don't know when that watch is. We don't know when he returning. But the key thing is to make sure you prepared, you know. So, you know, because you don't want to get caught, you know, sleeping, you know, or even going back to those 5 virgins that were wise and 5 were foolish. You know, you don't want to be foolish when the Lord returns. You want to have, you know, your loins girded. You know, you want to have your lamp trimmed. You want to have your oil, and you want to be watching. Like, okay. All right, look, we know he coming, you know. So, you know, you got anything else? All
right. Man, really, that's the point, man. You know, if you don't get it by now, hey, you better pray to the Lord for understanding. You know what I mean? Because that's all we can do in this time is watch. That's what we're doing. And you know, those that, you know, are spiritually asleep, you know, if the Lord doesn't wake them up in these last few moments of repentance being available, then hey, you know, it isn't for them to be awakened, you know. So in the meantime, you know, just pray to Yahawashi to allow us to continue to watch, you know, this chance and opportunity that we've been given. When you really look at it and observe, is, you know, greater than what we deserve, and also it just is opportunity of not just a lifetime, but the best opportunity that's been provided for us since we've been you know, in this flesh. So really, you know, just the point of just focusing in and lasering in on the plan, and on the game plan, so that we don't get caught slipping, so we won't get punched in the mouth unexpectedly, you know. So
that's right, brother. Well, hey man, you know, through the Spirit, Lord willing, you know, you brothers will edify. But I don't think there's any scriptures on the comment board. Yeah. But yeah, hey, through the Spirit, Lord willing, y'all brothers will edify, man. Until the next time, we're gonna say Kal Halalyam La Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, Rawchaa Qadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, teach rule well. Peace and salutation to the elect. Shalom, shalom, shalom.
Shalom.